Hey, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is Kevin Nathaniel. He is a mbira player and percussionist, and also the host of AfroRoots Tuesdays, a very long-running series on many different kinds of world music. And anyway, welcome, Kevin Nathaniel, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, it is just great to have you. And it's so interesting because you are doing something, and have been for quite a long time, with your show, AfroRoots Tuesdays, that's very similar to the World Fusion Show. Now, I didn't know about you when I started. I thought I was inventing the wheel because there were no other World Fusion shows out there. And also my show is maybe a bit more specific to World Fusion and not really dealing with traditional artists. I really try to focus on people and groups that are combining and creating new hybrid world fusion styles. Okay. Whereas you are doing, well, perhaps more world music, but you can talk about that. So anyway, sure. Thanks so much for being here. And why don't you introduce, what you're doing with AfroRoots Tuesdays?
Sure. Okay. AfroRoots Tuesdays is, I call it a world music series, but that's for me, such a vague term that I kind of play with that because every music is world music. So we have all sorts of bands in there. We have a particular interested in what I call roots music. So if people are playing instruments that are involved the essence or the root kind of instruments out of whatever culture they are coming from, I'm looking at that more often. And we have music groups from all over the world that play for AfroRoots Tuesdays. We started as a local New York City music series and always live. So we started, of course, with bands from New York City, but New York City always has a constant influx of musicians coming from other countries. 1 week, this band is here. Next week, another band is here. So, of course, even though we were local and live, we also had bands coming from out of town, other states, other countries. They were playing AfroRoots Tuesdays all the time. We started in January of 2013 at the Yippie Cafe. And the Yippie Cafe is a well-known sort of cultural place, a cultural landmark in the East Village on Bleecker Street.
Now, I'd just like to touch on your background. Growing up, you started out, your mom played piano, so you had music in the house, and you tried a bunch of instruments without much success, you told me, but you were also really into dance and acrobatics, and that opened you up to a lot more different kinds of music. So you want to talk about some of that background of yours?
Yeah, sure. I just, as I said, dabbled in a couple of instruments when I was a kid and, didn't stick with them, took them for a year, dropped them. I was always very physical, always wanted to be out playing, always wanted to be out with, playing basketball, running down the street. And of course, I was very involved with art and painting and drawing and sculpture. But at some point I got very involved with acrobatics and martial arts, and that sort of led me very easily into the dance world. And there I was doing a lot of dancing from about the time I was 16 years old, and then I continued that interest all the way through college. And I say this to people all the time: the dance, if this art form. Well, I'll put it this way. There's a word and used throughout many parts of Africa, ngoma. And ngoma, for many people say, oh, that's drum. But ngoma in many cultures means drum and dance event. So if you say the word ngoma, it means automatically people are dancing.
Right.
People are drumming. So in a way, that bit of confusion over that word ngoma is very beautiful, because what it basically tells is the fact that music is like a two-sided coin. One side is the sound and the instruments and the artists creating all this. The other side is the dancing. You really can't separate dancing from music.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say that. It's well known for those of us who've studied and love African music that dance and drumming are somewhat synonymous in their culture. They always go together. And a lot of the best drummers are the best dancers and vice versa. It tends to be part of the thing. Now, I want to go to our first video, and this is your group, AfricaForest Dance. So quickly tell us about this, your new group.
Yeah, AfricaForest Dance. We've been together for about a good number of years, and it's a hybrid, but it's rooted in traditions, in the jelly tradition. We have two jelly musicians, and these are musicians who grew up playing their instruments in that generational line out of West Africa. There are several families in West Africa that pass on the music from parents to children, and that's their role in society, is the jelly, and that extends also to singing, to music, to history too. So anyway, there are two jelly griot musicians in the group, and there's this me and Hassan, who are not born griot jellies, but we are in a way kind of a very interesting hybrid group of musicians who played all kinds of music and played all kinds of African music too.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the video right now.
Yes.
Okay. And watch this very cool thing. Okay. Bye. we are back with Kevin Nathaniel, and very cool video with AfricaForest Dance right there. Now Kevin, I wanted to ask you, your main instrument, or one of them, is the mbira, which is the national instrument of Zimbabwe. But you are not from Zimbabwe. At least I don't think so. But you got very attracted to this instrument, and you had kind of some magical connections with it. Would you like to share how you got interested and involved with mbira?
Yes, well, I'll try to keep the story as short as possible because it's a very winding story, but it began, my first sort of experience was, and I mentioned that I did a lot of dancing, and in my dancing, I had heard mbira music, and I'd heard it hanging out with some of the artists and musicians I would hang out with, just recordings of it, not actually someone playing it. And this was as far back as the 80s, early 80s, and in 79, in fact. And then I was coming through the Yale, I was in school at Yale. I was walking through the Yale campus late at night, and I saw a sign on a tree. It said, mbira music this way. So I went and followed that sign. And there in Timothy Dwight College, which was headed by Professor Robert Ferris Thompson, was Efat Mujiru playing in a room with probably about 20 people in the room, and singing these beautiful call and response songs with an mbira. And all I saw was the big calabash in front of him. And from then on, I began to just sort of be very interested in this instrument. And my life began to take all these turns in which everywhere I turned in my life, I was close to the instrument, close to the music, in mysterious ways. Too many mysterious ways for me to begin to be able to tell you, unravel that story. But I can just tell you that this was my last year in college where I met Efat. And for some reason, mysterious reason, or a very necessary reason to help my brother with a bone marrow transplant, I spent the summer in Seattle right after that. And Efat was there. And so this kind of coincidence was happening for the next 3 years. And which led me to start playing mbira, start building mbira, start playing them, and focus on it because I loved the sound. The sound was literally in my head everywhere I was walking. I was hearing mbira music, so the instrument was calling me, and that led me into this.
It's so great. I wish we could hear all the cool details, but you truly had a magical connection with this instrument that drew you to it. And you've been playing it ever since. Yes. And very involved with it. Now I want to go to our next video, which is you working with some Indian musicians. And it's, again, a very different kind of world fusion thing. Very cool. Want to say something about it?
Yeah, that was an event that happened a couple of years ago where they had a regular group of Indian musicians who had come in town, and they were all really virtuosos at their various instruments. And they wanted other musicians to come and explore with them the fusion. So they asked me, come on and bring, they knew that Kevin plays mbira. Okay, so they brought me in there for that. And I spent the day with them, playing with different groups. And that group that's in the video is the group that kind of things gel the best with.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, mbira is not a very ordinary instrument to play with Indian musicians. But I really think it sounds great. Let's go to the video right now.
Thank you.
Pāpatik Verdevam Samanam Agumatile Sabhapatik Verdevam Samanam Agumatile Sabhapatik Verdevam Samanam Agumatile सभापतिक वेर देवम् कृपानिधि इवरि पोल कृपानिधि इवरि पोल कृपानिधि इवरि पोल कृपानिधि इवरि पोल किडिकुमोयितरनि तनिले कृपानिधि इवरि पोल किडिकुमोयितरनि तनिले सभापतिक वेर देवम् समानमागुमादिल सभापतिक वेर देवम् ஒருதரம் சிவ சிதம்பரம் என்று உரைத்தால் போதுமே ஒருதரம் சிவ சிதம்பரம் என்று உரைத்தால் போதுமே பரகதிக்கு வேறு புண்ணியம் பண்ண வேண்டுமா பரகதிக்கு வேறு புண்ணியம் பண்ண வேண்டுமா.
Hey, we're back with Kevin Nathaniel. That was a really cool thing and unusual to hear the mbira with Indian musicians, I think. At least I haven't heard that. Anyway, we are going to go to our next video, and this is a one called Blessing. And in it, you are playing mbira with a Jews harp, a jaw harp, Morsing harp. Do you want to talk a little bit about this video and your concept for it?
Yes, this is a very deeply meditative song, and it's one of the many aspects of mbira music is that it is deeply meditative music. It's music that keeps building rooms inside of rooms so that you can keep traveling. And I'm working on this piece with a musician named Tom Chess. Tom Chess is a great fusion artist. He plays these instruments such as the ney and the oud very well. And in this video, he's playing the morsing, which is Jaws harp. And it fits so well with the mbira. We started talking about this idea, and this song that I was playing, you know, it just fits in the key, and we matched the keys of the morsing with the mbira. And we developed this whole like cyclical piece. And we said, well, what to call it? What to call it? And we said, well, let's call it a blessing of, and he said, the blessing of now. Right. So we call it the blessing of now.
That's nice. That's right. So let's go to the video right now.
Great.
And check out this beautiful piece. right, we are back with Kevin Nathaniel. I love that, and I do love the way the Morsing harp fits with with the mbira on that piece. It's just beautiful. Now we're running out of time, and I wanted to just have you talk a little bit about some of your new projects that you're working on.
Yeah. Well, the newest project, as I mentioned before, has just been organizing a lot of outdoor live music. And because New York City has been shut down basically, for a while, and it's just beginning to reopen, we don't know what that's going to look like. But we felt like it's a good idea to just let the music happen out for the people in the parks. So we've been going to Union Square every day with bands and playing, and people have been dancing. We've just been bringing life to the streets for everybody. So that's been my newest project. It's been a really, really beautiful thing to see happen.
Very ambitious and very much needed after this long time of us all being stuck inside and not being able to play for each other. Hey, now we're going to go to this next video, which I love. And it's a beautiful vocal harmony video. It's called Come to the River. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, this is a collaboration with the Reverend Jason Shelton, who is actually one of the most musical church figures of the Unitarian Universalist Church network. And he connected with Heritage, our group, our big percussion ensemble, and asked to do a project. And we wrote the song together. And really, we wrote every part of that song together as a team, as a collaboration. And that's what we came up with, Come to the River.
Well, I think our audience is going to really appreciate this because it's got just a transcendent sound to it and a beautiful chorus. And I mean, everything is, it's just lovely. Okay, let's go to the video right now.
All right.
Hey, we are back once again with Kevin Nathaniel. Wasn't that beautiful? I really, really love it. Kevin, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us again and joining us here on the World Fusion Show to share your music and, some of your amazing story. People will have to learn more about you and go to your show, your own show, AfroRoots Tuesdays, live show every 2 weeks that you host and have been hosting since 2013. I just think it's so great what you're doing and bringing so much diverse music to the public.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I really have a great deal of appreciation and respect and love for what you are doing too. So we're in this together. We are making it happen. We are keeping the culture moving forward.
That's right.
Yes.
It's so true. And the feeling is mutual. I'm so glad that you're on the team, baby.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you once again for joining us. All right?
Thank you so much.
Take care. Hey, this is Derek Jordan. Thanks for joining us today again on the World Fusion Show. It's been great to have you and our wonderful guest, Kevin Nathaniel. And I just want to say, we've got so many great shows coming up. Please stay tuned. And, I want to thank our sponsors, Mackenzie Family Trust, Dean's Beans, Jeff Green, Ron Dans, and Nancy Feinberg for their generous support. Thank you so much. It makes it possible for us to do this show. And as we always say on the World Fusion Show, remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.